Thank you for inviting us to use our outside voices, especially about love. Good morning. My name is Jan Oringer, and I've been a member of this church community for 15 years. And my husband and I were drawn to Unitarianism over 50 years ago because it offered us an opportunity for spiritual growth, but also an ability to work in community to promote social justice. Collaborating with others for the good of all was a value instilled in me at a very early age. I was the eldest of 7 children, born in a farm family in rural Ohio. We siblings were aware that our contributions were really important to the survival of our family. Not that we did this without a substantial amount of complaining and whining and disagreeing about who was shirking their share of the labor. But we did learn that there was power in numbers. We did, after all, outnumber our parents. Our father, to supplement our income, worked at the General Motors factory in our local town. Working conditions there were unsafe and really unhealthy until workers organized to join the union. The quality of life improved for our family and many others in the community as people learned that there was power in individuals working together to make change. Those lessons came with me to my first career as a nurse. I found teamwork was essential to provide life-saving care and the relief of suffering. And these previous experiences enabled me to move on to the next phase of my life. Howard and I married, we had 2 sons, and we moved to different communities a number of times. I took some, time off to go back to school as well as to be active in the community. That meant in those years, this was some time ago, leadership in PTAs, school site councils, and other opportunities in suburban life. When our children both left home to attend college, we moved to San Francisco to a new adventure in city life. I began a career as a clinical supervisor at a nonprofit organization here in the city that provided services for family caregivers. Once again, it was evident to me that these caring, really almost heroic individuals needed a team of social workers, nurses, home health aides, adult daycare, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. Eventually, having become a licensed marriage and family therapist, I established a practice counseling individuals and families who were providing care for family members experiencing dementia, strokes, head injuries, or simply the challenges of aging. As I met with people in support groups, I marveled at the way these individuals supported each other. One wonderful example of such advice was given by a woman regarding restlessness and wandering behaviors related to dementia. She was really creative. Her husband had been a plumber, and he became quite restless in the daytime hours when in the past he was accustomed to having been at work. She had a small tool shed in their backyard, which she made into his workshop. After breakfast, she would suggest he go out to organize things in his workshop. He would happily spend hours organizing tools and equipment that were familiar to him. This example inspired others to discuss ways they might incorporate pastimes and activities that would reduce frustration for loved ones and, of course, themselves. Some caregivers, empowered to change their own situations, even united in efforts to change government policies related to caregiving families. As my husband and I contemplated retirement, we looked for ways that we could give back to our community. So 20 years ago, with the support of our children, we established the Omnia Foundation. Our sons showed us intellectual and moral support in committing to sharing our family assets with others in the community. We met with them to identify underserved causes for which a small foundation could make an outsized impact. One of those original areas of focus was prisoner reentry. Not a popular thing for most funders in those days. As we met with those impacted by the criminal justice system, we became aware of the enormous waste of human potential made by mass incarceration. Many of the nonprofits that we support are led by intelligent, creative, formerly incarcerated folks who have strong leadership skills. Several of them taught us that they were more successful when they worked with other organizations that had similar goals. They maximized their funds and skills to create change. 2 quick examples. Susan, after 17 years in various prisons, emerged determined to help her incarcerated sisters. She has established homes with rooms for recently released incarcerated women and their children. She has also made it possible for them to get legal assistance, job training, drug treatment, and opportunities to become organizers in the areas of reentry and prison reform. And she's written a book about her journey in life and has seen to it that they are distributed to women in prison. And then there's Dorsey. Dorsey also spent around 17 years in prison. He's now the executive director of a nonprofit devoted to serving both incarcerated and formerly incarcerated people. He has organized formerly incarcerated people to participate in the Ban the Box movement, which has been highly successful across the country. The box being banned is the one on job applications that ask if the applicant has ever been convicted of a felony. You can imagine what happens to those applications. After a number of years spent encouraging grantees to collaborate with other organizations to maximize their effectiveness, the light went on that we should practice what we preach. You know, we're never too old to practice new ways of being. 10 years ago, we joined a funding circle called the Race, Gender, and Human Rights Fund, composed of 10 small family foundations, all fund in the area of criminal justice. We pool our money, ideas, and strategies to be more effective. This has been a really satisfying experience and confirms my belief in playing well with others.